Okay, we're going to go over printed graphics foundations. Printed graphics is anything that's printed. So first part we're going to go over is the graphic design principles itself. Thing about graphic design is think of all the things that we could do with printing. Some examples on the left: t-shirts, brochures, posters, flyers, magazines. And now we're starting to get into the digital world with websites, moving billboards, QR code designs. There's a ton of different things you can do with graphic design, and it all starts with the principles. Does it look good? You got to design the product to look good. Okay, does it attract your eyeball? Remember, if it doesn't attract your eyeball, more than likely no one else is going to look at it either. And third thing, make sure it has a hook. Can it hook my viewer to keep coming back for more? Keep staring at the item, the product. If you have those things, you should have something that is worth looking at. One way to do that, we're going to use some principles, and proportion is a good one. Proportion is the relationship to size, color, quantity, etc. If you look on the left side, we have good proportion. 2/3 to 1/3 is a very good way to proportion items. Split straight down the middle or a quarter. Just kind of remember this thing. Do things in odds. Okay, if you do odd numbered items, the proportion is good. Okay, so sometimes when you split it down the middle with symmetry, it does create this boring look. We will talk about symmetry and how it is, how it works, and how we do use symmetry, but it is kind of boring. Okay, so these are some examples of proportion. Balance. This is example of symmetry or symmetrical balance when it's also called formal balance, so make sure you understand the difference between formal and symmetrical. They are the same, just different terms. Symmetrical balance is when everything is equal on both sides. So if I cut that brewer's chocolate, or brower's chocolate, however you want to say it, straight down the middle, everything is equal on both sides. On the other spectrum, if it's not balanced, it's called asymmetrical or informal balance. So we have asymmetrical balances when both sides are not identical. Okay, the one on the left, which is symmetrical balance, is very easy to do as a designer. Make sure everything's equal. The one on the right is where it becomes more difficult to get it done and make it look right. Okay. One of my favorite things is contrast. If you have no contrast, you have no art. So make sure that you have good contrast to make your product stand out. So if you look at it, these are color contrast that we see. It doesn't have to be color. It can be size and shape. It can be font choices. Two different font choices completely. If you get one that's really bold and then one that's cursive, fancy, or elegant, those are going to contrast to each other. So it's when two related elements are different, and the bigger the difference, the more contrast that you get. In my opinion, this is the number one thing you should know, is contrast. Now, emphasis. If you look at emphasis, is what part of the item or your product or your drawing stands out. What are we focusing on? Okay, and you get that several different ways. If you look at the one with the emphasis on the right, it has a lot of contrast between the black shape and the other items around. Also, we have proportion. There is one item, again, odd, one item that stands out, not multiple items, one. Okay, it also contrasts with size. The size of that one shape is huge compared to the rest. So we're using lots of different elements and principles in this one item to create emphasis. Our eye goes to one place, and that's the That's the big black triangle. On the left, there is nothing. And it kind of just looks plain. It doesn't catch your eye. Okay, so there's got to be some good points of emphasis. Okay, the one thing that's very hard to teach is unity. Unity is when everything works together. Almost like when you're in band or music, when everybody's singing together or playing together, we call it harmony. It's something you just can't teach. It all just looks good, works well. There's a lot of things out there that you can hit all the principles, make sure everything's right, but in the end it doesn't look good. So it comes with the eye, and the more you're around it, the better eye you're going to get. The more artistic you are, the more chances you're going to have to actually see the good artwork. But unity, again, it's the hardest thing to come up with is making it look good in the very end. Here's an example. We look at it, and if you looking for balance, what type of balance does this have? We think about it. If you cut it straight down the middle, it's pretty well evenly balanced. We have picture on the left, picture on the right. Text is centered. There's text on the left, text on the right, and text in the middle. So this would be symmetrical balance or formal balance, if you will. Here's some pretty cool drawings that we've produced throughout the years. These are student work. If you look on the left, we have a poster. It has very good contrast or point of emphasis. The problem is the point of emphasis is in the wrong place. Your eyeball goes straight to .com, right in the middle of the page. It should go up to the top where it says communication technology. That's the title of the page. So it has great contrast, just wrong place. So yes, you can have great principles. You can have great layout, great alignment, great proximity, and all of a sudden there's no unity. It doesn't work. Now the one on the right, it works. There is a lot going on, but the cool thing about the one on the right, it has great balance. The visual impact keeps your eyeball moving from drawing to drawing. You go up to the top, you see the guys just sitting there. You go into the letters of the word design, and you want to dig deeper to see what it says. So your eyeball is compelled to keep on moving throughout the page, and that's what you call great unity. Okay, once we know our design principles, it's time to start laying things out. And the first thing we want to lay out is what we call a rough layout. Again, everything happens in threes. We want to get our ideas on paper. So we need a rough layout of our product. We're going to sketch on paper some rough sketches. Our first ideas, they're brainstormed. There should be just a bunch of nice layouts on paper and pencil. Then we're going to go to what we call a comp, or a comprehensive layout. Okay, these are refined layouts. Typically, you do these on the computer, and you're going to put them on the computer, get them ready for the client's approval. So you're going to design everything on the computer, PDF it, send it to the customer. They sign off saying, yes, that's exactly what I want. And then the third step is actually the product itself. So these are the first two steps, rough layout, and then the comp. And we all do it this way. We always make rough sketches. I'll show you a couple in class that we do for certain products, but rough layout, then your comp, and then your product in the end. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop there for the day. And then we'll have another video about printing techniques. So I'm going to stop on the printing techniques and save that for another day. Have a great day.